Hey people, John here from Fast Films, and today we're going to go through a 2022 horror movie named Glorious. In the first scene, Wes, the main protagonist, is in a dark trance. When he gets to life, he sees himself on the road driving a car toward an unidentified location. Wes drives for a little while and stops at a rest stop to take a break. Upon stopping, he gets out of his car to use the vending machine at the stop. While at it, his money gets stuck in the machine and Wes doesn't get his snack. While throwing a fit over the busted vending machine, a lady sitting nearby, Sharon, walks over to the machine, collects a coin from Wes, and helps him get his snack. Without waiting for a thank you, Sharon walks away from the rest stop, stops to see a glowing purple flower before she drives off. She drives away afterward, leaving a dumbfounded Wes to get back to his car and enjoy his snack. Now back in his car, Wes stares at the clothes carelessly placed in the back seat. He heaves a frustrated sigh, picks a teddy bear and almost smashes it to death as he remembers his recent ex. After calming himself down, Wes gets out of his car and calls his ex. He cusses, praises, and cusses his ex over and over until his phone runs out of battery. Frustrated, Wes smashes his phone on the ground and loses it. In the next couple of scenes, Wes is seen drinking himself to a stupor over loud music. By nightfall, Wes burns his clothes at a charcoal stand and rocks his night by drinking heavily and listening to hard rock. A little further into the night, Wes finishes his alcohol and passes out. Just then, a purplish silhouette appears and holds a red box belonging to Wes. Before anything awry happens, daytime comes. Wes wakes up without his pants and feels his stomach giving out on him. He quickly rushes to the bathroom at the rest stop and vomits his guts out. When it all ends, Wes hears a voice from the bathroom stall next to him, asking him if everything was all right. Wes assures him he was fine. Just then, the voice begins talking to Wes. He tells Wes that he'd like them to have a conversation while in the stall. Being understandably uninterested in the conversation, Wes declines his request. The voice continues talking nonetheless, talking to Wes about how much bacteria is in his hand after touching the toilet bowl. Wes rushes to wash his hands and face in the sink. After doing this, the voice decides to introduce himself to Wes. Wes is uninterested as he tries to look for something in the restroom. After much pressure from the voice, Wes finally decides to hear his name. The creature tells him to hold the tip of his tongue and say, "Got another one?" Wes does so and realizes the voice's name was Got to Know the. Wes is just as flabbergasted as anybody as he marvels at the weirdness in the name. The voice then tells Wes he's a lonely old god. As one would expect, Wes doesn't believe him one bit. He even tries making jokes. Eventually, Wes gets enough of the god and tries to peek through a hole in the bathroom stall so he could get a good look at the creature behind the voice. Unfortunately, Got to Know the senses this and warns Wes not to look through the door. Wes gets disobedient and climbs the toilet bowl in his own stall so he could look at the god. Got to Know the reacts violently and sends Wes into a trance. In the trance, Wes gets in his car and sees his ex, Brenda, again. Before he starts his car, Brenda suddenly turns into Gotta Know the and brings him back to his bathroom stall, where he gets back into reality. Wes freaks out over the god getting into his head. However, Got to Know the tells him to calm down and listens to what he has to say. Wes still freaks out and tries to get out of the bathroom. When he tries opening the door, he finds it locked. This makes the lonesome traveler freak out more as he tries calling for help from the window. Gotta Know the puts a purple force field to shield him from the outside world. Wes loses it again and shouts at Gotta Know the to let him out. Gotta Know the keeps trying to calm him down until he himself loses it and shouts at Wes to pull it together. He sees a slimy, reddish membrane from under the bathroom stall that Gotta Know the was in. He tries running away but falls down again. He then looks around again, sees the vent, and gets an idea. Wes gets a metal plate and keeps talking to Gotta Know the while unscrewing every screw holding the vent gate. After removing the screws, he walks into the vent and keeps talking to Gotta Know the. He sees a light at a T-junction and climbs through it till he reaches the other side. When he gets out of the vents, he finds out he is back in the same bathroom he was once with. Only this time, the vent is sealed tight. Got to Know the tells him there's no way out until they fulfill what the universe requires them to do. Wes fusses about how well the universe had turned his life upside down. To keep himself out of Got's reality, Wes gets into his mood memories. Got to Know the forces him back to reality and orders him to stay with him in the bathroom stall and listen to what he has to say. Wes hears this in a very high pitch and his ears bleed. He washes the blood from his ears as Got to Know the tells him a story of how he was created. Apparently, Got to know Noah's father created him to stop life from existing after being betrayed by his father's children. Got to know Noah then says he's been dedicated to fulfilling his father's wish until he escaped Ether and started feeling connection to humans. After hearing Got to know Noah's story, Wes asks him if he was in hell. Got to know Noah tells him he's not in hell and starts losing his powers little by little. He then tells Wes his father's looking for him, so he would use him to annihilate the entirety of Earth. According to Got to know Noah, Wes would need to satisfy his corporeal feelings so he could be stabilized and keep his form. He then tells Wes that only one part of his body could satisfy those feelings. As Wes realizes what he was being asked for, the property manager, Gary, drives by for a maintenance check. Wes shouts out for help several times until he is heard by Gary, who comes over to the bathroom and bangs on the door. Wes orders Got to know Noah to open the door despite his warnings, and he does so. When the door flings wide open, Gary walks in and tries to figure out the situation. He talks down on Wes and passes him off as a homeless junkie who locked himself in the bathroom stall. When he asks Wes why the door was locked, Got to know Noah says he's the one who locked it. Gary decides he's had enough and orders the god to unlock the door. Got to know Noah steps out of the stall and terminates Gary in the most inhumane way possible. When Gary's screams are silenced, some angel music plays with brown rain falling on Wes's hands. Wes reaches out for the picture of his ex that was on the ground when Got to know Noah throws Gary's pumping heart under Wes's stall. Just then, Wes has a flashback to the first time he met Brenda. Apparently, Brenda caught him checking out another lady and talked him out of approaching the lady. This amazes Wes as he figures out Brenda might be into him. The two introduce one another, and Wes snaps back into reality. Still in the bathroom stall, Got to know Noah gives Wes the go-ahead to walk out of the stall. When Wes does, he sees everywhere painted red: the walls, floor, mirrors, stalls, everything. He even sees an eyeball in the sink as Got to know Noah tells him he has to satisfy his corporeal form so he can be free once and for all. Wes paces back and forth to the bathroom with a different thought in mind till he decides to get things done. He gets up, walks to the hole in the stall, pulls down his underpants, and sticks his pee-pee into the glory hole. Unfortunately, Got to know Noah needed something more internal. He needed Wes's liver, not his pee-pee. Wes's world comes crashing down. His liver. Understandably, Wes throws a fit at the monster about sacrificing his liver for humanity that didn't give a damn about him. Got to know Noah tells him he still has to give his liver. Wes then decides to tell Got to know Noah a story about his mother and abusive father, which transforms into a speech about how do-gooding people always had ulterior motives. While he tells his speech, Got to know Noah loses even more of his power, as the walls around his stall begin collapsing. When he regains control again, he talks to Wes and tries cajoling him to give his liver. When Wes has heard enough, he walks to the glory hole in the bathroom stall and cusses at Got to know Noah. This time he sees Got to know Noah's eyes and gets into a trance. In the trance, Wes sees the teddy bear he almost smashed to death earlier on and is pulled into it. When he gets back to reality, he almost loses it. He crawls to the mirror, takes a drink, and goes AWOL. Got to know Noah tries to call him back to reality, but Wes acts goofy and calls Got to know Noah's father to their location. Just then, the walls collapse in front of Wes, and Got to know Noah tells him his father has found them. Almost immediately, a red monster appears on the other side of the portal created and starts sucking things inside it. Thankfully, Wes manages to hang on well enough till the portal is closed. When it all ends, Got to know Noah tells Wes he has to do the sacrifice now or else there would be no one left on Earth to remember him or Brenda by. Got to know Noah then allows Wes to see Brenda once again, so he makes his resolve to sacrifice his liver. With Got to know Noah's father still trying to tear his way to Earth, Wes picks up a sharp glass shard and punctures himself to expose his liver. As he goes through unimaginable pain, memories of Brenda come flooding into his head, even the time when she found out about his true nature. While he remembers her, Got to know Noah materializes as Brenda, takes his liver, and uses it. Wes walks out of the stall and lays flat on the ground. It was then that Got to know Noah opens his own stall and shows Wes his form before disappearing without a trace. When Got to know Noah leaves Earth, Wes wakes up back in the bathroom stall with a fatal wound to his stomach. He crawls his way to the door. Halfway there, Got to know Noah tells Wes he's already back in the ether world. Shortly afterward, he bids Wes farewell. Wes opens the door and crawls outside to the teddy bear. He presses it one more time to hear the words, "I love you." In the final scene of the movie, Wes lays down on the ground with death roaming his eyes. Wes closes his eyes and leaves this accursed world for a better one. Thanks for watching, guys.